hour practicing, it's going to be a little difficult, but it's okay. All right, so with the hip spica, I'm going to use a 6-inch single, and I'm just going to do the quad. I'll show you guys the ankle wrap, but the quad's just much easier because we don't have to have tables. But for her quad, I'm going to use the 4-inch single. Sorry if I stumble over my words. If I do, please correct me or ask me if you're confused. Okay? Okay, first thing I'm going to do is her quad. So with a wrap, what you can do sometimes is do it too tight or too loose. It could be either or. Again, you want to make sure that you're moving distal to proximal, making sure it's more tight on this end than it is on that end. And you want to make sure that you figure out where their pain is. So if she had a quad strain, I have a soccer player right now, she has a rectus femoris strain from last semester, and now she has myositis ossificans. It's so much fun. Anyway, so her pain is right in the middle here of a rectus femoris. So what you want to do is find their pain, start below the pain, go up to the bottom or top of the pain. Okay? So if her pain is here, I'm going to start about 2 inches below. I kind of give it 2 inches, and about 2 inches higher than that. Okay? Okay, so what I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to tell you to bend your knee just a little bit. I'm going to tell you to contract your quad. Contracting your quad is just going to make sure that it's not too tight around your quad and it's still functional. All right, so when you're doing this, it doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed, because if you're left-handed, you would still angle up this way, but always your end angles up, okay? Don't roll it out way out here because you don't have control. See how much that stretches, and I'm like, I don't know how to get around her. Just keep it close to you so you have more control of the roll. And it's okay if you drop it, because I do sometimes do. So again, her pain is here. I'm going to go just below her pain, give a little tug. And I angle up because now that's locked in and my ends aren't hanging out. Okay? So I'm going to pull and just wrap around. I'm not completely tight the whole time. My pull is in one direction. So I pull, and I just wrap around. Does that make sense? So that makes sure that you're taking care of how tight you're pulling. You're just pulling in one direction. Okay? So I'm up to high groin now, and I have a lot of wrap left. So what you do is when you get back to the front, there we go. When you get back to the front, cross down like that. You see that? That pull's still in the front. Pull back up. And then I'm at the end. And it's with the wrap, sometimes it ends in different places. You just kind of have to work with what you got. For a regular compression wrap, it's literally just a spiral. When you get to the top, you cross all the way down. You don't want to wrap all the way back down because that compromises the distal to proximal movement. Okay? So to lay this down, I would either use those clips that we always lose and we never keep up with, or use tape. So what you do with tape, and somebody throw me one of the rolls of tape, please. Just toss it over. Thanks, Chelsea. Okay, so so because it's in the back, can you turn for me? Because it's in the back, I make sure that it's nice and laid down, like that, everything you see. Normally you would go all the way around, but since I don't have stretchy tape, I'm not going to go all the way around. Let's do it. There we go. A couple times across to where the whole end is going to be covered. Just like that. Since you can't see this, what it is there's an end here, and it's about 4 inches long, so I make sure that the tape covers each of that end so that it doesn't come off. So when you're functionally moving, whatever, that the wrap's not going to come loose. A lot of times for my athletes, I never use regular tape because that's likely to come loose. I always use stretchy tape, and that way I can come around them without compromising too tight, or compromising the tightness of the wrap on the quad itself. So I would ask her, hey, is it too tight? Does it feel okay? And then I would also, if she were barefoot, check her circulation by her big toe. Okay? Very simple spiral wrap. Right, that's it. What this does is basically gives compression to the muscle itself. The compression, rest, ice, Rice's thing, and it assists in that. And it's an individualized kind of thing. Sometimes a lot of people don't like it, and sometimes they love it. They're like, yeah, it works perfect, and I can run, and I feel great. Okay,